There is this person who hang on, there's this person who wrote to me. I don't know whether I know this person. I don't even know whether it's a guy or girl. The email says Lee Ying Sam, but this person signed off as AC. So he said that he has just recently started reading the Pali Canon, and he has some queries regarding what he has read and asking around to see if anyone can help with them. So I reply and I say, glad to hear that there are people reading the Pali Canon. How can I help you? So then he sent a reply and sent me a list of questions. When I say a list, I really mean a list of questions. So I'm going to read through a few, and I will probably ask him or her to come online in the morning, and then I'll answer them. But just to share with you. So, good evening, Venerable Sir. Sorry for the late reply. I just finished reading the Beginner's Anthology of the Pali Canon, and I'm in the middle of reading the Digha Nikaya. So here are a few questions. Since the written version of the Pali Canon only existed years after the Buddha's parinibbana, how can a disciple be sure in the precision of the Buddha's immediate disciples and the later monastic councils, memories of the spoken discourses? So that's the first question. Yeah. So basically, in a way, asking the question of the authenticity of the teaching. Yeah. Number two, what are the differences between the Pali Canon, the Chinese Tripitaka, and the Tibetan Tripitaka? Are they structurally, I think that's a typo, are there structural differences or doctrinal differences? Number three, how should I study the Abhidharma literature? Number four, how are spiritual beings like Garuda, Naga, and the vehicles of Bodhisattvas categorized? Do they belong to the animal world or the heavenly world? Number five, in the Brahmajala Sutta, the Buddha regarded finitism and infinitism of the world as wrong views. I'm not sure why he used the term finitism and infinitism. Usually it's translated as eternalism and nihilism. Or rather, in the order that he wrote, it would be nihilism and eternalism. Is it because the world itself is not the actual reality, and therefore the notions of finitism and infinitism are not applicable? Number six, it was said in the Pali Canon that the wheel-turning monarch has 7 treasures. Are these treasures literal objects, or are they just figurative expressions of entities that cannot be seen by the human eye? Number 7, in the Jaliya Sutta, the Buddha allowed the 2 wanderers to call him friend, and even address them as friends. Why in the Arya Pariyasana Sutta, when the newly enlightened Buddha met his fellow ascetics again, he told them not to address him as friend? Like, why the sudden change from superior to peer level? And so Arya Pariyasana Sutta is one of the first sutta, the early one. Then the other sutta came much later. So he's saying, why at the start he seemed to put himself like, don't call me friend anymore. Yeah. Then later on, people call him friend and he addressed them as friend. Yeah, these are, there's a number 8. Let me just read that. There's actually 8, 9, 10. Let me just read through them and then I give you all an overview. Sometimes in the Digha Nikaya, I noticed that when a prospective disciple wanted to ask the Buddha a question, he had to ask 3 times. And with the first 2 times not being directly responded to by the Buddha, and then the third time, the Buddha finally responded to the question. For example, in the Kevada Sutta, the householder Kevada asked the Buddha to let his monks perform miracles so the people of Nalanda would believe in the Buddha. But the Buddha declined for the first 2 times before telling him that he did declare 3 kinds of miracles. Did the Buddha change his mind, or did he plan to tell Kevada, but it is just some kind of culture in ancient India to ask 3 times for confirmation? Number 9. Why did the ancient Indians place so much esteem in ascetics in general? Number 10. Any other things I need to be aware of regarding the culture of Buddha's time so I can better understand the text in perspective? Thank you. Regards, AC. Yeah. These are, I would say these are valid questions. Yeah. But there's another email that came, and inside this email there are, let me see, 6 points. Yeah. So after that, I replied and I told him that, dear AC, thanks for your questions, for sharing your questions. As the questions are many and mostly require some clarification and explanation, perhaps you would like to have a Zoom Q&A in one of the classes I conduct, or a separate one. This will also benefit others who may have similar questions. Give me 2 dates and time, and we can go from there. By the way, are you located? You are located in Singapore, right? Yeah, so after reading through the questions, I was having some thoughts. The first thing is, there is a lot of questions that is that feels how do I put it? That feels a bit too structured. Yeah, it feels almost like an academic thesis, you know. Doesn't feel like an organic question that that a person trying to learn Dharma would ask. You know, it seems like, it sounds like that way. Yeah, but I don't want to be presumptuous, but this is how I feel about it. Which got me to think, like, think back to the question that I often ask people: why do you learn Buddhism? Yeah. Why do you learn Buddhism? Or why do you learn the Dharma? Why do you meditate? Why do you attend Dharma classes? Why do you go for retreats? Why do you read a Dharma book? Yeah. That this question is very important, and that's also why oftentimes at the start of a series of classes, I would ask students to write down 3 things that affect them, 3 things that get them upset, 3 things that they would like to improve on. Yeah. If there's any so-called right reason to learn Dharma, that would be one. Yeah, that would be the right reason to try to look at ourselves and see how the Dharma, how we can utilize the Dharma, how we can apply the Dharma to improve ourselves, to change ourselves. Yeah. And again, not to be presumptuous, but the questions, none of the questions is about using the Dharma on himself. It's questioning the Dharma and not asking questions on how to use the Dharma. You'll be like going to see a doctor, going to a hospital, or going to a clinic. And then after that, having questions about when do you graduate? When do you get your degree? How come your school is named this school? Yeah. What kind of language do you all use when you're studying your medical degree? Why do you all wear white coat? Why must you wear white coat? Why some people wear white coat, some people don't wear white coat? Yeah. You know, a person with cancer wouldn't be asking such questions. Yeah, a person who go to the doctor because the person is not well and knows that the person is not well. A person who goes to the clinic or hospital for the purpose of curing themselves wouldn't care less when the doctor like wouldn't be spending time asking all these kind of questions. May have one or two questions, okay? I don't say no, none. But the focus will be quite different. Yeah. I thought without even answering the question, I thought this is a good reminder to all of us. Yeah. To once in a while come back to the reasons why we learn Dharma. And in a broader sense, why are we Buddhists? Why are we Buddhists? So then our effort to learning Dharma would become more, in a way, relevant to what we are doing. Oh, yeah. The relevance of the Dharma is as far as the way we make it. Yeah. The extent that we make it relevant is the extent that the Dharma is relevant. Yeah. As you can see, this one can read through the teachings and arrive at different questions that to me may have no relevance to progress in the Dharma. Yeah, these questions are interesting. Yeah, and depending on how I answer it or a person consider it, it can help a person understand the Dharma to apply in their life also. Yeah, but at least just on the surface, the questions seems more academic and seems to be having questions and doubts about the religion itself than how to use the teachings. Perhaps it should be understandable for either a free thinker or a non-Buddhist. Yeah, so we'll see how. I'll probably ask him or her to join in on the morning session, and then we can take it from there. Yeah. For now, any questions for today? It's Wednesday. Yes, Polan.
师父, morning everyone. 师父, can you explain more on this 禅静双修? I mean, how this 念佛 I mean, put into our this meditation.
Oh, how to 禅静双修 so in brief, so how many of you know about the Pure Land practice? No one, except her. The rest of you don't know what is Pure Land practice. Really? Cannot lie, Buddha image behind, and then monk here, and then fellow Dharma brother and sisters. Okay, a handful. So when Polan asked 禅静双修, the 静, 清净的静 is referring to 净土法门, Pure Land practice. And then 禅 today would refer to the practice of meditation. So I'm not an expert in either one. Yeah, I'm not an expert in either one. The lineage I was trained in, we practice 如来禅, not 祖师禅. That's another Dharma talk altogether. But from what I know, there's this saying, 有禅有净土，犹如带脚虎. Yeah, and it is in praise of how if a person were to practice both meditation and also practice Pure Land then it will be very powerful. Yeah, because a tiger is already very powerful. Ma. Then imagine if a tiger has horns, even more powerful. But I'm not sure whether that will be more powerful, as in the tiger with horns. So then how do we practice them together? At the first place, why is there a need to highlight this? It is because at some point, those who practice meditation don't seem to practice Pure Land meditation or Pure Land practices. And those who practice Pure Land seem to ignore meditation. Yeah. You know what I mean? 祖师大德 say such a statement because there is a segregation, that there are people who see them as separate practices. Yeah. But in fact, if you consider the context that this statement is made is in Chinese Mahayana Buddhism. And Chinese Mahayana Buddhism, is there anyone, if you are a Mahayana Buddhist, that means you should be practicing Bodhisattva path? Ma? If you practice Bodhisattva path, you cannot say that you're not practicing Pure Land Buddhism. Yeah. Because Pure Land Buddhism is not just 念佛. Usually we say 念佛法门, but actually in all the, if you go and look through all the Pure Land related sutra, how many times do they talk about 持名念佛? How many times? I don't know even whether there's any times that they talk about 持名念佛. 持名念佛 meaning you recite Buddha's name. Yeah, that's 持名念佛. But if you look at the sutra itself, the 念没有口字边 is 意念的念. Right? If you look at the sutra, maybe I'm wrong, but you all feel free to go and look at the various sutra that is related to Pure Land. Yeah. 净土五经还是净土四经哈？应该是五经哈。There are a few sutras that is at the core of the Pure Land practice. Yeah. Unfortunately, today most people equate Pure Land practice with 持名念佛. Yeah. So just recite 阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛, which is a wonderful practice. Yeah. But this is a very preliminary practice. But when we say it's preliminary, actually it's also wrong. Because the preliminary practice is to learn the Dharma. Because if you don't learn the Dharma, how do you know about Pure Land? Oh, you just hear that there's Pure Land, then that's done. No, you are supposed to learn about all the various merits of Pure Land. But in the first place, why is that Pure Land? If you look at our Tamsaka Sutra, you know that Pure Land is related to Buddhahood. And all Buddhas have a Pure Land, and in that Pure Land, there are countless Bodhisattvas, countless Sravaka disciples, all in unison practicing together. Yeah. But if you hear about Pure Land and Buddha, do they stand in isolation? No, it doesn't stand in isolation. It's always with respect to the vow of the Buddha. But the vow of the Buddha to establish a Pure Land, to attain Buddhahood, and then establish a Pure Land, is never said in unison, in isolation. It's always said with respect to sentient beings, the suffering of sentient beings. You know, and that's why in the Tamsaka Sutra it says, the path is like the Bodhi tree, the fruits is like the Buddhahood, and the roots is sentient beings. Yeah. The rain is like the great compassion. Yeah. In this way, Buddhahood is rooted in sentient beings. Yeah. So if a person were to say he practiced the Bodhisattva path, if a person were to say, oh, I practice 净土法门, you must learn, 你要学经教, person must learn the Dharma. You cannot say, oh, I don't learn Dharma. Well, but Sifu, there are so many people doing that. But how can you say that they are not? Well, it also can. Yeah, but then it's incomplete. It's incomplete. It'd be like someone just going around saying F equals to ma, you know or not? You know F equals to ma, you know E equals to mc squared, and then say that, oh, because he recite this verses, this formula, he's a physics student. Cannot. Cannot. If all you know is F equals to ma, and you never even learn what is F, what is M, and what is A, how can you say you're a physics student? Physics students, you must learn a lot of things before you can even say you're a physics student. Correct? No? Then how can we say that a person is practicing Pure Land if all you do is just recite Buddha's name? Then myself just say, Isaac Newton, Isaac Newton. You know who is Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton, Isaac. Then, you're a physics student. Yeah, how do you know? You recite Isaac Newton's name. Oh, then another one, Einstein, Einstein, Einstein. Wow, this one, wow, general relative, special relativity physics student. Wow, advanced, advanced. Cannot. Yeah. So, um, if a person practice Pure Land, it must be uh, in this context. Yeah. So in Pure Land Buddhism, then there's this very common phrase, sequence, 信愿行. Yeah. What most people don't realize is the sing, prior to sing, you must have wen. If you never hear anything, why are you having a sing? Just out of blue, oh, I will sing. Then what is the basis of your sing? Sing means faith. Sing yuan sing. You have faith, and then you have the vow, and then you have the practice. Yeah, most people think of some, I don't say most, some so-called Pure Land practitioners may not even know about this sequence. Yeah, then they just say, oh, you must 不要念佛很好很好. But then they have very superficial faith. Yeah, their faith in the Buddha is just like faith in God for other religion, you know? Yeah, because they don't have any understanding. I don't say that other people from other religion have faith in God without any basis also. I don't say that. But in the sense that their faith is not grounded in much of a teaching, not grounded. So as a result, I've heard stories of individuals. I don't say whether it's men or women, but they have been going temple for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, many years. Then they go for many years, but in the end, their children come and tell them, if you don't follow me to the church, then I will send you to old folks home. Then they will just follow. Hey, don't be mistaken. I'm not attacking churches. I'm just stating as a fact. Okay, this is really happening. Okay, yeah, and I don't blame Christians for doing that. Of course, they want to do that because this is their belief. Yeah, if it's not their belief, then why are they doing that? It must be their belief, right? I say Buddhists themselves have to blame themselves. We don't have enough proper faith. Our faith is only skin deep. I don't even know whether there's skin deep. It's only hair surface, only superficial, visual. Yeah. So the moment people threaten you to send you to old folks home, you, oh, okay, I go. If a person who really practice Pure Land, the son or daughter say, you don't come with me to the church, go with me to this center or that center. I send you to old folks home. The mother or father should say, when are we going? Should be, my prayers have been answered. Wow, 菩萨显灵. Yeah, the Buddha and Bodhisattvas are so powerful. I've been praying that I can go to a place to do my practices. Now my son offered to send me to old folks home. Then I can focus on my practice. I don't have to bother with their children, still have to take care for them, and then still have to listen to their stupid quarrel. And then I still have to look at their face, whether they're happy today or not. In the old folks home, when it's time, people come and serve me food. Yeah, when it's time, they bring us to the communal area, and we have people entertaining us. Then every day they come and take my temperature, make sure I'm healthy. To do what? so that I can do my practice. That's Pure Land for me. Unfortunately, most who say they practice Pure Land Buddhism they're not serious. They, yeah, they're not serious. Yeah. Pure Land is not very interesting one though. Not interesting in what sense? Not interesting like in our samsaric world. Yeah. Pure Land, what do you do in Pure Land? Dharma talk every day, no. Yeah. In Pure Land, whole day Dharma talk. Even the birds give you Dharma talk. Huh? Yeah. Even when the wind blow and the trees switch, yeah, the sound produced by the wind blowing through the leaves reminds you of the triple gem, reminds you of the Dharma. So if you're not interested in Dharma, again, you must be interested in Dharma. Then what has it got to do with that a person should also practice meditation? Because if a person think that I want to attain the Buddhahood, I want to go to Pure Land, I don't want to meditate, then then it's like saying, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to learn medicine. I just want to wear the coat and then that'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I want to be a lawyer. I want to go to court, but I don't want to, so many cases I must learn. All the precedent cases, wow. I must learn all the way back to all the prehistoric cases. Too much fun. I just want to be a lawyer. Why are you all so troublesome? Can I just go for the bar sitting? Cannot. So you must learn the Dharma and you must meditate. But meditation is never taught in isolation. It's always part of 戒定慧. Yeah, we can say meditation covers just think. But how about 戒 and 慧? It's never taught in Buddhism. I don't say other centers or other religion. But in Buddhism, it's always taught in unison. 戒定慧. So if you want to attain Buddhahood, as part of the 6 paramita, number 6 is wisdom, number 5 is concentration. So if you look at meditation in a more comprehensive manner, then you must practice meditation in terms of samatha vipassana. But you cannot just practice that by yourself. You must practice the earlier 4 paramitas, which will include precepts also, right? And then also include learning of Dharma. Yeah. So in a way, what most people think of nowadays as,禅净双修, what they think of is, when I meditate, I recite Buddha's name. Externally looks the same. This person meditating, this person also meditating. But one person is mi to for inside, silent chanting. Then most people think this is 禅净双修. Also can, yeah. By my understanding, 禅净双修 means you must have the aspiration to attain Buddhahood. You must practice the full 6 paramita, and which also means that it doesn't mean that you are reciting Amitabha's name in your heart when you're doing meditation. Doesn't mean that. Yeah. The way I see it, it would be the Jing part, the Chan Jing, the Pure Land part would be you must have the aspiration. Because if you just practice meditation without that part, it can be, I practice meditation to attain Arahanthood. Then that's Rabaka path. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, if you can attain Arahanthood next Wednesday, 3:35 p.m., please go ahead. Yeah. But with the Pure Land practice, that means you're meditating to attain Buddhahood. So then it's a lot more comprehensive, or some would say complicated. Yeah. Good. Now she learned to not just jump in. Yeah. Or you can also do what most people are doing. Meditate, then you inside you chant, just chant Amitofo, Amitofo. Then you think this is Chanjing Shuangqiu. Without learning the various teachings on the Bodhisattva path, without all that practices, without that mindset, without cultivating loving kindness and compassion on a daily basis. Yeah, then you that without all that, just reciting Amitofo, is that Pure Land practice? No. If that is Pure Land practice, then if any of you go to Pure Land, you'll see a lot of Nian Fo Ji over there. You know what is Nian Fo Ji? All those small devices where you just put in battery, turn on the power, you will just Amitofo, Amitofo, Ami. Then you press a button, then Namo Guan Shi Yin Po Sa Namo. Then press again. Namo So when you go to Thailand, hey, how come not much Buddhist, not much people there, all the Nian Fo Ji down there. Yeah. Then Buddha down there. What to do? Only the Nian Fo Ji is a Nian Fo. No, just reciting that without the full set. I see little basis in the sutra. We don't say, oh, this Zushi say, that Zushi say, this master just last week gave a teaching. You go back to the sutra. Yeah. 一定要发那个愿嘛 What kind of 愿 What kind of vows? 无上菩提心的 vow. Yeah. 发阿耨多罗三藐三菩提心. Yeah. Right? So in that context, then Dhamma Sutra is also a Pure Land Sutra. All the 大乘的经典都是在提倡要发无上菩提心的。Okay, Bolan, you have a question.
So if yeah, this is in broad context that Chanjing Shuangxiu explained. We apply more specific.
This is based on my limited understanding. I'm not an authority.
If I'm more specific, yeah, so if I'm more specific in the sitting, how we incorporate this Nian Fo in this sitting.
But that's my point. That's my point. Do you see any sutra? I say sutra. Later masters may have their own idea about it. But if you go back to sutras, I don't recall any sutra when they are talking about Chan Polo Mi, and then they talk about reciting Buddha's name. Okay, first thing, if you go back to the sutra, I don't recall, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't recall any sutra that position recitation of Buddha's name within the practice of meditation. Yeah, but at the same time, in various Mahayana Sutra, it does talk about how, if a person were to even hear of my name, may such a person attain to the highest liberation and so on and so forth, right? 大悲心陀罗尼经, it does have that kind of that direction, right? Yeah. But if you look at that whole sutra, those sutras in the full context, right? It's not simply there's a lot of background context to it. Yeah. It is that when you hear of the Buddha's name, and then it rekindles in you, it kindles in you aspiration in that direction. Yeah. You know, otherwise that just hearing it, then then if that's the case, what we should do, if just hearing the sound, then what we should do is just everybody walk out into the streets and then just chant go all over the place, go to all the religious places and just chant 天下大乱 like that. Yeah. But having said that, if a person want to incorporate, and Yeah. So in the traditional the four qi, the four like we have a four qi, right? Then they usually have a certain sequence, and they usually have a part where after reciting the 净土 阿弥陀经, then they 念佛, then they will sit down, then 止境. So it starts from movement with chanting, then eventually to the second part, sit down, then continue chanting for a while, then 止境. 止境 means quiet, but then internally chanting. Yeah, chanting internally. For most people, doing this is very helpful. Yeah, for many people, it's very helpful. And for many people, I think up to this point, there's no progress. Yeah, so it seems like that's all you need to do. But according to my teacher, beyond this, then we should go, progress the practice to from 有相念佛到无相念佛. Yeah, so 有相念佛 means there's form. So sound is a form, right? Not the physical form, but as in there's something. Yeah. And from there, then we go towards 观想念佛. So when we say 观想念佛, we usually think of the Buddha's features, but actually it's linked to the practices of the 6 paramita, all the different practices. Then from this, link to the practice as a cause, and then the features as a result. So these practices are 缘起性空. And from this, yeah, so that is dependent arising is empty in nature. And from this, then it connects towards the Dharma. It becomes 实相念佛, where you are contemplating on the ultimate reality. So if you ask me, this is the gradual sequence. But most of the time, we just do the first part and hard to progress. So it's easy to think that this is all we need to do. Yeah, but don't take my word for it. I'm not an authority in Pure Land Buddhism. Yeah, as I said, you all feel free to go and fact check with the sutras. Okay. 好，愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了。
普愿罪障悉消除，
普愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as always, have a happy day at Pure Land.
Thank you, Supo. Interesting topic. Well digest. Thank you.
Okay, take care, stay safe, bye-bye.